I ever do to you?
Hello, hello, hello. So this was a very interesting mod. If you've ever seen the original variations, it was a pretty big mod and very cool. Had a lot of nifty stuff in it. Well, this is a ported version of Variations 1K. Still a pretty big mod, but not as big as the original. 1K is enough, in my opinion, to really spruce up and make Skyrim look good on the Xbox without stressing your video RAM and stuff to such an extent that it will crash your game a lot. So, and I'm using an Xbox One X, okay? Now, there's a lot to this description here. I'm not going to read it all. This mod will basically replace all of these things here. It's mainly a texture replacer. However, they did include quite a few meshes. And you'll notice some of them even say mesh only, because what they did was they took variations and they took practical female armors and they took Lean Wolf's better shaped weapons, and they've kind of done a mashup here of those mods. They don't have everything from the better shaped weapons, okay? And I don't know if they have everything else. You can read all of this for yourself. It's a lot, okay? But a lot of things have changed. I want to take you through a lot of the weapons and clothing and armor and just show you what you can expect. Some things will probably not have changed, but looking through this list here, most things have changed in some manner. Either the texture coloring has changed or the mesh has changed. Something has changed. In some cases, you know, like I said, they did use, what was they using here? They said that practical female armors, because they didn't like some of the, what they call the boob plate armors. So, you know, you're going to see a difference here on some of those things. And some of those things really just involve changing just the mesh. I'm probably not going to be able to show you every little thing, but I'm going to try to show you what I can, okay? And it will be a lot of stuff. It's going to be a lot to take in. We're just going to try to walk through each of these. I'll try to show you how the weapons look, how the armors look, and then leave it to you. They did add some sleeves to some armors that didn't have sleeves. I'm going to say, at least in one or two cases, that some of these changes were not so successful, okay? But you can look at it and see for yourself and see if it's really a big deal or a game breaker for you, okay? Now, the original modder for variations was S for Zenda, okay? That's all I can tell you. They did the original mod, and I think Brackamicro79, and that's the best I'm going to do on their name, I believe basically what they've done is ported that over. Now, it does not have, it says here, no optional colors or swords in this version. If you remember, there are some variation options for like glass and some things, but this does not cover that. This covers the base variations, and this is all in 1K. All right, so we know the porter, we know the original modder. This is about 386 megabytes. It's still pretty big, but if you like this, and this retexture is very cool, it's very nice. If you like this, then you may consider it worthwhile. So let's hop out and get in the game, and I'll show you some of this in the cheat room. All right, so we're here on my guy in the cheat room. The first thing I wanted you to see here is the crown. Let's go here, and I'll give you the... I wanted you to see, I had to come down and grab some dwarven stuff so it would look good and make sense. But I wanted you to see the Ethereal Crown, or is it Ethereum? Let's get up there. It's the Ethereal Crown and the Ethereal Shield, both which look good. And you'll notice the dwarven armor has changed its coloring too. But those look good, right? Okay. So I wanted you to see those. Now, we're going to move on. We're going to look at some stuff like, well, that hood, let me go down and see, can I find, you know what, let's just look at that. Let's just look at that hood the way it is. We'll do this. We'll put him some boots and stuff on, and then we'll take them off so that you can see this hood. So that's going to be the hood. There is another version of this hood down in the Red Guard clothing, but there's always this one that's named differently. So I just wanted you to see that. Now, the Ancient Thalmor, or the Snow... Oh, come on, work with me here. There we go. This is something where they've added sleeves that clip into the gloves, and I think this is less successful. I don't know why they made that change, or, you know, you can tell me if that was in the original game, but I don't think it was, and I think that looks odd. So the crown is still just a crown, a face mask, basically, and you can see his head. He doesn't have any hair, so it doesn't matter for him. We're going to look at the Ancient Shrouded. Probably not going to be much different from the other Shrouded or the usual Dark Brotherhood stuff. It makes him look a little slimmer, but remember that I'm using a different body mod, and these are all going to be tied more to the vanilla body mod, or body, I should say. Let's get rid of these gloves and boots so you can see that. Let me just scroll down. We'll just grab some boots. Those will be fun. So this is the Archmage robes. I think those look good. I like that coloring. A lot of these variations are going to be just darker colors. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Now this is Ariel Shield. And that really should go, I think, with the Ancient Thalmor stuff. If we go back to that, if you go back to here. But the coloring looks like it may be a little bit off now. But that's life. That's just the way it is. So, just pointing that out to you. We have Banded Iron Armor and a Banded Iron Shield. Which, notice, mainly darker. Those pants, I guess those are the pants that go with that. That's kind of strange. They look like junky little pants, don't they? But that's okay. They had to do something. This is the Belted Tunic. I'm going to drop that shield for a moment. The clothing is mainly darker, but they've also done something, I don't know. Maybe darker is all there is, but somehow they've made it look better. The clothing actually looks a lot better. Now, this is a black mage hood. We're going to leave that clothing on, but I like this hood. And it looks good, and you can wear it separately. Here's the black mage robes. They look nice. I'm just doing a quick thing. You can even speed this video up and go faster. This is going to take time. There's no difference. Or you can just skip through and look at what you want. This is the normal blacksmith, and that looks pretty good, I think. And then there is the alternative, which is the more gray version. Again, looks very good. He actually looks like the blacksmith in Solitude a little bit, don't he? Then we have the blades stuff. Now, the blade stuff, I kind of like. I don't have a helmet. Why don't I have a helmet? Well, okay, we're going to let it go for now. I did not do a helmet. But anyway, you get the idea. That looks good. We'll do the blue robes. Let's see, let's drop the gauntlets and the boots for a minute. And the shield. The blue robes, I don't see anything drastically different. I think it looks okay. Now, bone mold armor, I think what they've tried to do, and I appreciate this, is try to make it look a little better. It's never going to look great to me without just a total overhaul, because I don't like it. I just have to tell you, I don't. But nonetheless, here you go. It's a bug armor. I don't know. I just don't like bug armor, I guess. But they retextured it. It does look better, though it always looks dirty. I don't know. Depends on what you like. If you want to look like that, that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. So here, let's take this stuff off. We've got some different boots. Now, they really went to some trouble, and some of these boots are really nice boots. And then the game does not specify what a lot of these boots are. They're just boots. See these different versions of the boots? I'm not going to go through. I'm going to flip through them, but we're going to go through it pretty quick. It's just boots. But it's nice that they give you some different boots. Some of these look pretty good. And you're going to see in some of our... when we get down to fur, you're going to see that they've made some decent stuff there. Some of that looks better than the old regular vanilla stuff. And I would say the same with some of these boots. Like the tavern boots here, they've actually changed these to look more like the merchant boots, really. I don't mind that. That makes them look good. As long as they look good, I don't really care that much. Like those boots look fine. I don't know who uses these boots in the game. Some of them... Oh, okay. Invisible boots. Ignore that. I don't know what that's about. We're not going to get into that. I'm not even going to worry about it. If we see somebody wearing invisible boots, we'll fix it. All right. And to boot, I'm using a different crafting mod, so those boots may just be from something weird in the game. So don't worry about that. Brown robes. Ta-da. Overall, I think variations mainly darkens things up and makes it look better in that way. But it does more than that on some things. Now, I think the chef's outfit looks good. Might have to try this for Spooner. He could stand a nice outfit. This is the Chitin. Oh, did I not do... damn, did I not do the helmets? I must have forgot to do some of the helmets. Oh, no, here it is. Hold on. Here's the helmet and the shield. There we go. So there we go. That's the Chitin. Again, bug armor. And it's not symmetrical, so it bothers me. But it's cool in its own way, though. And is this significantly different than the vanilla? That's something you have to ask yourself. I did not read through the details on what's modified and what's not, so I'm not even 100% sure if the Chitin has been changed. When we go back and look at the mod, we'll try to review a little bit of that. But it's a big list, and I was not going to sit here and read that list to you. That's ridiculous. You can easily just look at that list and see if what you think has changed is changed. So let's go through this. Oh, these are clothes. Okay. I guess those boots and gloves are okay. Just realize we're looking at the clothes, really. These are a lot of different clothes, and they modified the clothes to look pretty good, in my opinion. I'm just going to flip through these, kind of like we did the boots. Those look nice. I like the way they did this. They stayed true to the game, but they made some differences. That looks nice, doesn't it? So I have no real huge complaints with this mod. I think this is a good mod. And after this, I want to do like a tutorial on some stuff regarding this. Now, here's college boots. There's some different variations on college boots here that you can use. And they blurs them out a little bit if I don't pop out of the menu. Oh, wait, I hit the college robes. Well, that was okay. We were done with the boots, weren't we? So these are the robes. And I'm not sure if that's hugely different. But they look a little different to me, a little darker. If I'm wrong, then I'm just wrong. Maybe I just don't remember correctly. The cultist, now the cuffed boots, I always like the cuffed boots, and they look good. This is the cultist armor, or robes and stuff. I'm not sure if that was changed. It looks a little darker to me. I don't pay enough attention to those things. Now this is the Daedric, and it has the red highlights. Again, that looks really nice. I'm not sure if that's significantly different from the vanilla, though. Some things aren't. Some things aren't going to be. It's just the way it is. Now, they did add sleeves to the Dawn Guard armor. I'm not exactly sure why that was a worry, but they didn't like the fact that it didn't have sleeves, so they added sleeves. Now, in this case, it seems to be very successful. Looks very good. I don't see any weird clipping. Remember, the Dawn Guard is just variations on a theme. And I think it looks nice. Wait, don't I have a helmet? Hold on, I'm missing his helmet. Here's the light helmet. Let me show you that. It's kind of like a bobby over in Britain. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Not exactly, but... And then, where's the heavy helmet? Oh, there's another helmet. Pardon me while I look for it. Y'all probably see it and you're going, hey, it's up there. Yeah, there it is. Full helmet. And then this is the full helmet, which is very cool. I think that looks very nice. All right, so back to where we were going with all this. So the different armors, you know, Dawn Guard tries to give you some variations, and they tried to give you some nice armor. I like it. Here's the heavy armor, and the heavy boots, and the heavy gauntlets. Let's see, this is the rune shield. This is the light shield. But there is a heavy shield. Let me get that. And it looks very good too. They both look really good. The Dawn Guard stuff, whoever did this really did a good job. I think it looks good. Let's see. So one more heavy armor. And it's a little lighter in color. So there you go. I know this mod touched the Dawn Guard stuff because they mentioned getting rid of the sleeve, adding sleeves. So I may not know every detail of what they changed because I read over that, but it's too much for me to remember all at one time. That's life. But you're going to see some change here. It's mainly darker. In this case, darker is better. However, the dragon plate armor has always looked, I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't really do anything much for me. I mean, I get the idea. So in a way, it's kind of cool, but just now, this mod is supposed to not touch the dragon scale armor. And this looks very vanilla. It does not look changed. So I do remember that from the notes, from reading through the notes. This is not supposed to be changed, and it doesn't look like it's changed. So that's good. All right, so we have some Dunmer outfits we're going to look at. And these have definitely had their colors, I'm going to say, muted a little bit. It's not that they're not different colors, but they're not as bright. In my opinion, they're a little darker. That's not necessarily bad. I think they look good. Oh, I should have had the Dunmer shoes on. Sorry about that. See, he needed his shoes. All right. So I think that looks good, though. Some changes aren't always for the better. Like those Dunmer outfits, you could have left those alone. It's marginal. You know, change. Sometimes change is just change, and it doesn't really make a difference. But sometimes it's better. So if we look at the Dwarven, which we did have a peek at earlier, notice that it looks good. It's a little darker. You could say it looks almost rusty in a way, but it looks good. Overall, it looks good. I'm not sure it's a huge change. I'm just going to be straight up about that. Now, I don't know why I have this random helmet in the middle of nowhere, but there you go. There's a helmet. Whatever. Let's move on. The Ebony Armor. Let's take a look and see what we think about this. Was this changed? I'm not sure. I think it was modified. It looks a little different, but I'm not sure. So we may have to look at the comments and see, was that really changed? I'm not sure. Ebony Mail. Again, not really sure I see a change here. Maybe we do. Hard to be sure. All right. If there's a change and I can't really tell it, then it's probably not really, I mean, not to be mean, it's probably not really worth doing. Because if you're going to do a change, it should be significant. Now, this, you can tell this is darker and it looks good. The black version of this, which you can find, well, I have found in the past. I'm not sure if it's still up or not, the way things are lately. But the black version of this Elven armor is fantastic. It is much better than even this. And this is good. This looks good. But I'm just telling you, the black version is even better. The Gilded Armor, there's really no difference. I've never understood that. The light armor, there's a slight difference in things. Not huge, but you can tell some difference, like the pauldrons, the shoulders. But not a huge difference. Now we're going to get into some robes and clothing. Let me get rid of some of this. So, and again, mainly darkened up. Not huge changes. Now for the females, I think they're going to change it so that they're, well, we'll see. We'll see. I won't talk about that yet. We'll see what we think when we get there. But here, the Emperor, I'm the Emperor. Bahaha. Anyway, the Emperor. Now we're going to be the Executioner, and this should be fun. And they're supposed to be, one of the changes they did is there's supposed to be a female version of this now, so that might be fun. I didn't make him any boots to go with this, but I think that's cool. If you could run around as the Executioner, that would be, I should have done that. That would actually be kind of fun. So, Falkreath. Now, there's no, we didn't do any boots here for this. Do I have boots here? Farmer boots. No, we won't do that. Anyway, this is Guard Armor and Falkreath, and you can tell it's just darker, muted. I'm not sure if that's really a huge improvement or not. So I'm just going to let it go with that. Wait just a minute. I left his shield and his helmet on him. That's kind of funny. There we go. So if you want to look like a farmer, you could do that. I'm not sure how that's going to turn out in the long run, but you could do that. And we have the Hardened, Gauntlets, and the Helm. And this is even more bug armor. Matter of fact, there is another helmet you can wear too. Rather than this one, there is the bug. Where did they put that? It's the shell. Is it shell bug? Pardon me for just a moment. We're going to see if we can find it. I think it's shell bug. It'll take a minute to get down to the S's. But I think it's intended to go with this armor. Yeah, shellbug helmet. See that? So you can have a different insectile or insectoid look. I'm not a fan. I'll just tell you, I'm not a fan. I'm not a bug fan, so. We're going to get back to our show where we were, back to the Thalmor. Let's go back up here. Okay, so anyway, and then there is Thalmor heavy armor and boots and gauntlets and a heavy helm. Again, has its own look. Oh, you know what? I think I missed something earlier, didn't I? So here's the Thalmor helmet and shield. Let's go back to that. And then this is the bracers and the boots and the armor for this. So there we go. So this was your full Thalmor look if you just went basic Thalmor. Why you would go basic Thalmor or Thalmor at all, I have no idea. Now here's some boots. Let's take some of this stuff off so we can see them better. They're not supposed to go with this, so I doubt they'll work out very well. So here's some boots. And again, they did a good job on some of these boots. Those are just shoes, really, and I'm not overly impressed. I like the boots, though. The boots looked pretty good. Gonna go back to the boots. Fine clothes. Ooh, so fine. So fine. Anyway, darker and nicer. In this case, the change really works. Here, I'm not really seeing much of a change. You know, here, again, darker works, makes it nicer. It's cool. Here, I'm not sure if I'm seeing a big change or not. Looks okay, though. Looks good. Hat. Hat looks all right. Woo, got the hat, man. Ready to go to bed. That just makes me think of a sleeping hat. I don't even know why we have that. Here's the fine raiment. Now, this just looks, like I say, what's the word? Muted. It looks different. Not bad, though. Just different. And here we get into some Forsworn armor and boots and gauntlets and headdress. Okay. If you wanted to be a Forsworn, now I think they've added sleeves to this and pants. They have. They've added sleeves and pants to this, which, okay. It's your choice. Like it or love it. That's just the way it is. They've added sleeves and pants. All right, so the fur armor, they have made some different changes with fur armor here. Boots, bracers, let's go gauntlets, and let's go helmet. Now, the helmet is really not significantly better. It's still pretty junky. But the boots and the armor and the gloves look pretty good. Now, there is some better versions of this fur armor than this, but I wanted you to we had to start somewhere. See this? This is a better version. Honestly, I would lose the hat, I think. That's such a dumb hat. And I might lose the gauntlets because those gauntlets are not overly appealing, but nonetheless, that's some fur armor, which looks better than some of the others. Then there's this version. And here they've really just... They've taken that fur skirt and they've really just added a little bit of a college robe and shirt top. It's kind of weird looking. I'm not sure that one's better. That's a change, but I'm not sure if it's better. This one, again, I'm not sold on. I really liked the one that just looked like clothes. I thought this was much better. I thought, well, that looks good. But you may not like that because it's furry looking. So, yeah. And then this one's more like the original. It's just darkened up and it looks good in its own right. So, that's just things to note and remember. Fur bracers. Okay. I don't know. Not a huge difference. We tried the gauntlets and the helmet. Now the shoes are just shoes. Let's see how those... Okay, they still are basically boots in a way, but they're shoes. All right, I'm just going to let that go. I'm not going to worry about it. The fur trimmed cloak. Ooh, let's get rid of these bracers. And those ugly shoes. Oh, matter of fact, we'll go back to the fur boots. These are better at least. But there we go. Fur trimmed cloak. That looks pretty good. We are only in the Fs, so this is just going to take time. Fur-lined boots. Now, these are good boots. Look at that. Those look nice. You could use those. Now, this is the General's Armor. I'm going to leave him with those boots because it won't hurt anything. It almost looks like he has a big hole in his chest, like Tony Stark looking for his thing in the movies, you know. His little arc reactor, yeah. And this is Tullius. Now, we gave Tullius pants? Oh, okay, and sleeves. We gave Tullius pants and sleeves. And we didn't do anything for this guy. So, I don't know. This guy, this may be unchanged. And then if you look at Tullius, you can see they added, which I don't think that's... I don't think that's an improvement. I mean, the coloring is cool, but the sleeves and the pants, I don't know that that's an improvement. Just my thought on the matter. Doesn't really matter because we're going to move on. So here we go. The new glass is, would you say that's bluish? I would say it's bluish. Bluish, maybe aqua, maybe something like that. Personally, I like it. I don't think it's, like I said, they haven't changed the mesh significantly. They have made some changes, if I remember correctly. But in the end, it's just a different color. Looks pretty good. These are just regular gloves. Like if your person didn't have any other gloves and you gave them those little gloves. These look nicer than the vanilla ones, though. I will give them that. Green robes. I don't see a huge difference there. Let's move on. Gray robes. Again, not a huge difference. Now, the Greybeard's outfit, let's see. I don't know that this was changed. I think that looks the same to me. So, if I can't see a significant difference, then that's just life. I'm not going to worry about it. So, this is the Guildmaster, like, what is his name? Mercer Frey, right? So, this is kind of what he should be wearing. This is really... It's not as black. It's more dark brown. Looks good, though. Okay, this is the Hammerfell Garb that I wanted to find earlier. Let's see. I'm going to try to do up something really quick. Let's go up here. I know. Bear with me. We're going to go all the way up to the A and show you that hood, well, I forget the name now. When we get there, we'll see it. Yeah, the liquor hood. This is sort of how that should look. It should look like this with the Hammerfell Garb. That's the idea. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, by the way. I'm doing that on purpose. I'm just being a doofus. Anyway, there you go. Okay, so that's the idea. And I think that looks good. And you're going to see this same basic look with some slightly different color variation down in the Red Guard area. So, but we're just to the H's. This is just Hammerfell. So, Hammerfell. Da, 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 da. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to show you the hide. And here they've made some differences. Again, they want to show less skin, so they're giving you more sleeves and pants. And I think they're doing this because they're saying that, Skyrim is a cold area, so, that doesn't really hold up in historical truth, but, in general, it does make a more practical sense that you would be more covered, but we know that certain people did all kinds of crazy things and went into battle naked and all kinds of stuff, and they were in colder regions. So I'm just saying, we know that insane things happened in history, but nonetheless, what they're trying to do is make something that they think is more practical. I don't know that this looks any better than the vanilla hide, actually. It's different, and I'm fine with that. I'm not putting it down. Overall, I like this mod, in case you're wondering. Overall, I like the way they bring some new textures and colors that look good, even to the guard armors. Now they do mute the colors a little bit. I don't mind if the colors are a little brighter, but I'm okay. I will survive. That's just the hooded robe. And this is the same basic thing. It just doesn't have the word mage in it. So anyway, here's the blue one. There's really not a huge difference in these, so we're just going to click through them. I think they look fine. Now on the Necromancer, you'll see the red skull, like a bloody skull, which I think actually kind of looks better. Depends on what you like, though. The Thalmor robes, I think they look good. We'll see the boots and gloves when we get down to the Thalmor, down in the T's. But that's just to give you an idea. Now, the Imperial, I'm not sure. Let's take a look. I don't know if they made any difference here or not. They may have, I think they added sleeves. I think that's what they've done. I think they've come into this and they've added sleeves. For some reason, they have something against anybody running around without sleeves. Which, I mean, okay, that's fine. You're in a cold climate, and if that bugs you, that's fine. That helmet looks pretty cool in its own way. Now we have the light armor, and we do have a light shield down here, which you will see. And again, we've got sleeves and pants, and I think that's a big deal to them. The coloring does look better, I think. I think I kind of like the darker colors. And there's the other helmet, which is kind of a goofball helmet, but hey, whatever. It is in keeping with that kind of homage to the Romans. So, okay, so we got iron armor, boots, gauntlets, and I didn't do a helmet for this. Let's take off the officer's helmet. And again, you've got, I think you've mainly got sleeves and pants, and the coloring is a little darker. All right. And here we go with the jester stuff again. Just take the shield off. I don't think there's any significant difference in this outfit and Cicero's outfit. It's basically the same. And this is supposed to be Carlia's outfit, but for a guy, it's really just going to look like Thieves Guild armor, I'm pretty sure. I don't know that it will look significantly different for the girl either, though, since they've changed the colors of these. Leather armor. Other than the fact that as per, well, did they significantly change the boots? I think they have significantly changed the boots. And they may have added some sleevage or pantage to it. It looks slightly different. And I may have trouble identifying some of the differences. I just own up to it. I'm not going to remember every little detail. Lynnway's armor, I remember it being a little more gray, so I think they have affected it, but I don't think it's not bad. Now, let's throw on the Mage's hood here, and we'll get rid of the gloves. They can keep the boots. I don't care about that. But the Mage's hoods should be reasonably, I think they may even be untouched. We'll see. I'm not seeing a huge difference. But if they did touch them, they did fine, because these look fine to me. Again, not really sure if they made a huge difference. They do look a little darker, though, so perhaps. Same with the robes. The robes look a little darker to me. Not sure that one's even different, really. But not bad anyway. I'm just trying to show you what you should expect with this mod, and for some things, if there's no change, there's no change, and that's just life. Here's the guard armor. Again, a little muted. That helmet looks basically the same. Some minor clothes, and some other minor clothes. I'm not going to go into great detail on this. This is just minor clothes. Do any of us actually wear this? Very rarely, right? Here's a Murak. You should expect... Oh, there we go. Here's Murak. I messed up. Basically, that's how he will look. Is that a little darker than normal? Maybe. I don't know. Not significantly different, I don't think. My monk... Okay, those monk robes are invisible, so there's some glitchy thing. Here is the monk priest. We've already seen monk robes anyway. It doesn't matter. Oh, moth priest, I mean. Wow. Moth priest. Sorry about that. I knew something was wrong when I said it. And then there's the little sandals. Ooh, I have sandals on my feet. Then we have the mourner's clothes. I don't think you're going to see... I mean, for a guy, this is just mourner's clothes. I mean, I don't think there's really any huge difference. Mythic Dawn. I don't know if we'll see a big difference here. I think they may have retextured part of it. I'm not sure. Anyway, the Mythic Dawn robes actually always look good to me. So even if, I think they did. I think they darkened it up a little bit. I think it looks good, though. I think they darkened it up. And they gave it 2 tones, I think. I don't know if it had that much contrast before, but we'll see. I could be wrong. I don't always remember everything, like I've already stated. So there's the Necromancer robes with the red skull, which is cool. The red skull. Here's our Nightingale, and I don't know that this was changed at all. It looks the same, so I don't think this has been changed. I don't see any significant change here. Now, I'm going to say that it could have been changed, and maybe I just didn't notice it. I'm okay with that. I'm leaving him those boots. But this is the same fancy clothes. They've been darkened up. They look a little better. Now, I don't know what we're going to get if I hit Nocturnal's clothes on this guy, but I thought, why not? Oh. Okay. We're getting a very strange look. Well, that's funny. That's funny. Let's give him the hat. Oh, now. Oh. Ooh. Okay, I'm moving on because that is just too weird for me. Oh, let's give him some Nordic stuff. I have nothing to say about that. I really don't. Okay. This looks good, and it looks like they darkened it up some, just a shade, except for the shield. It looks like they forgot the shield. Everything else, it looks like they just shaded it a bit darker. Not a lot. Novice robes. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. Well, I guess we have to get rid of the boots because they're clipping through the robes. Okay, hold on. All right, so novice robes aren't really a big deal. They're just robes. Let's see, the Orcish Armor. Now, here on the Orcish Armor, if I remember correctly, I think I do, all they did was touch the mesh. Supposedly, they did not change the coloring. However, I'm seeing a distinct lack of green in the armor, and the shield is definitely greener. So maybe I misunderstood, or maybe I did not read or remember as thoroughly. So there is a difference here. You can see it between the shield and the armor. So some change has occurred. Now this is the Pale Guard. We can drop those gauntlets and boots. Again, just more muted, dirty looking. I'm not sure that's really an improvement. Now the Penitus Oculatus. Okay. This is going to be, I believe, the same as we've seen in other things. They've added sleeves and pants. Okay. Did we have boots? I didn't think we had boots. Oh yeah, they do have boots. Unfortunately, their pants clip with their boots, so that was a bad choice. If you're going to add the pants, at least like tuck them in or something so they look better. That's just me. Like I said, not everything is a win. Not everything's 100%. And I'm not sure. The headpiece looks darker. I'm not sure that the chest piece has been changed that much. I guess the red has been darkened up. I don't know. I'm not sure that one's a win. I'll just tell you. Those boots, that's a bad choice for those pants, isn't it? That's really bad. Let's take the armor off so we get rid of those pants. Now, those boots don't look bad like that. They look kind of big and chunky, don't they? That's okay, though. All right. So, what else we got going on? We got the Sijic boots and gloves and hood and robes. I think, again, this is more gray or muted, but not really significantly different otherwise. I think the regular one is a little more colorful, but I could be wrong. So we're going with the ragged robes. This is just for fun. I thought, well, I can make them. Let's just make them. And it looks like they did, make that a little muted, a little darker. I'm fine with that. the ragged trousers. A little more brown or gray rather than that tan color, which never made sense anyway. This makes more sense, honestly. Hey, I'll tell you when you have a win. I think that's a win. That robe is fine, but we're going to look at the red guard. See, this is where I was talking about we're going to see the color variation is different, but the red guard and the Hammerfell Garb is pretty much the same, right? Should be, right? So, it is. The refined tunic. I'm so refined. Yes. Ooh. There we go. The refined tunic. The Riften Guard. I don't have any problem with this. Now, the Riften Guard still looks pretty purple, so not bad. Not bad. I think they've tried to give them more sleeves and pants than normal. So just be aware of that. I don't have any trouble with that myself. This is the rough spun tunic. Again, it looks more appropriate than that funny tan color I never understood. Now this is the Savior's Hide. And it looks all right. It might look a little weird on him. I don't know. It's okay. It's the Savior's Hide. I think they've added sleeves and pants to it. It was never a big deal to begin with, so whatever. Now the scaled stuff here, I'm pretty sure, yeah, we're going to see pants and sleeves and... Okay, for my purposes, that is not a win. The white shirt top is not doing it. I'm just being honest. So that one is not a win. Now the scale, same here. The same white top. No, I don't know. Find another color. Do something else. That is not a win. I'm just telling you. It's okay. Not everything in the vanilla game was a win either, that's for sure. So at least this person is trying to do something better. And these shoes are not bad. They're just good dark shoes. I don't... Whoa, what is that? Oh, okay. Let's move on from those shoes. Those are probably something that... okay. So we won't be using those. That's probably something from, like I say, that mod that allows me to make stuff. Okay, so I don't know the difference here. Oh, okay. This Shrouded Armor has, you'll see, sleeves. Now, I don't know why we have this. This one does not have sleeves. And this one looks like it fits better around the ankles than this one. So I'm just going to point that out to you, and then I'm going to move on. So we're going to put on some boots and a cowl, and we're going to do a maskless cowl, which both of them are maskless. So I think that's probably a change, the variations made. We have the shrouded stuff here. Now the shrouded robes, I've never really been impressed with. And it doesn't look like they really changed them. It just looks junky. And it just always has. It looks like... I don't know what it looks like, honestly. It's just a crazy design. Which, if you wanted a crazy design, okay, you got it. But it's just weird. Now here we have the skull. And as long as it looks like a big fluffy parka and warm, I think that's perfectly fine. Did they darken it up a little? I can't even tell if they darkened it up. Maybe they did. The Solitude Guard stuff. Let's see. Let's get rid of this so we can see this a little better. Looks fine. Yeah, looks fine. Let's move on. Okay, so we're getting into Skyrim. Now, I think there's going to be an issue here where... Let's see, where's the shield? Okay, that's a light shield. Do we have a heavy shield for Skyrim? I don't think we do. Anyway, I want you to notice how brightly colored this is. Right? And it's... I mean, that's the way Skyrim looks, though, right? It's bright and icy looking. So I'm not putting it down. But if we go look at the weapons, we're going to take a look at all these weapons, but I want to show you something here. I think the weapon had a different look. Let's do the mace. See that? It has a more muted look. I'm going to go first person so you can see what I'm talking about. See that? It has a more muted look. I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying that is different in its texture than the armor. So it doesn't really look like the weapon and armor go together anymore because they're too different. Just my opinion. And that was something I noticed earlier. So just wanted to point that out. Other than that, again, not a big deal. Just something to be aware of. I try to point things out to you. I don't always remember everything. We do the best we can. All right. So steel armor. Let's look at some steel armor. Now, these are definitely... Let's see. I would rather just have the Nordic gauntlets. There we go. Okay, let's do this. All right. So, did we get a shield? Where's my shield? I know we have a steel shield. There. Anyway, so this is the basic Nordic steel armor. This is the basic steel armor. Doesn't even have the shoulders. And then, of course, there's the shoulder version. Ta-da. Football player style. You'll notice some of these armors, like here, he really looks a bit skinny, doesn't he? I'm so used to seeing his big, muscly self. But anyway. You have the horned helmet. All this should really blend together pretty well. You'll notice they darkened it all up. They gave it a good texture. You could argue that it should be shinier. Depends on what you like. I really can't say. The Imperial gauntlets are shinier. So, I mean, that's something. The plate armor here is still going to be pretty dark as well. And they have a sort of an Imperial version there if you wanted that. I don't want that, but I'll just show it to you real fast. But there you go. This is, and you could say, well, that should be shinier. But it looks good like this too. So, I mean, I can't complain. I think it looks nice. Stormcloak. We're just going to do the basic here real fast. Hold on. So this is your general Stormcloak dude. Just dressed like a guard, right? And this is our officer guy. And I don't think this was touched. This looks very vanilla to me. Studded armor. If you're interested, they definitely touched the studded armor. And I'm going to say, with the brown shirt, it looks at least better than the other one. I'm still not sold on that. just being honest, I'm not sold on the pants on this either. Because we're doing a homage back to the Romans and everything. You know, I'm not saying they couldn't wear pants, but I mean, anyway, it's not a big deal. So here we go. This is basically going to be another Thieves Guild set, even though it's a Somerset Shadows, and you notice it's a different brown and gray colorization. It looks good. Tavern Clothes. I don't know why we care so much, but well, that looks fine. He looks like he has some good out on the town clothes with a couple of purses there to hold some money. Okay, Telvanni robes and more Telvanni. These are two. They're the same thing. I don't know why I have two of those. Okay, I must have just done that. Anyway, got the boots. Is this different? I'm not sure if that's any different. Temple Priest. I'm not sure if that's any different either. So, again, we're just rolling through, doing what we can do, showing you everything so you kind of know what to expect. Let's get rid of this hood. I don't know why that hood is there. So this is the Unhooded Thalmor. I don't know. I think he looks like a tough guy in that. I think that looks pretty cool. I like the darker look to it. Now here we go back to some Thieves Guild armor. I don't think any of this is a surprise. Looks like I made several things of the same thing. So anyway, these are probably slightly different. Oh, I bet they're slightly different colors, aren't they? All right, so this is more brown. The first ones are more brown. And then the second ones are more gray. Okay, that's what it is. So like this is more of a... Will this be more? And that's more gray. But there's slightly different shapes too. So anyway, I'm not complaining. I think all these look fine. It just depends on what you like. Now that one, notice it looks shiny on the right here, but it's not actually shiny in the game. So that's good. I think that's some weird glitch going on. I'm not going to worry about it. Soon's armor and boots. I don't think this is touched, but I want to show it to you anyway. Yeah, I don't think this has been touched. That looks fine. It looks normal, is what I should say. Now, Ulfric's outfit, I don't know if it's different or not. Let's take a look. Is this different? I don't know. Maybe. That might be a little different. Like I say, I guess I don't pay enough attention to that stuff. The robes, they're purple robes. I don't know if they're significantly different. I imagine they're a little different. Now, the vampire armor, supposedly, they changed some of the armor for the vampires, but it's more on the female side. So when I do the second part of this show, do the female part, you can take a look and see what you think. But here, I think this looks perfectly fine on him. Looks great. Oh, why did he go invisible? Because they had to change the colors. Either way, it looks good. Yeah, I think this looks good. I like the red. They darkened it up a little bit. It's all pretty nice. The Vampire Lord armor. Okay, I can't really tell much difference. Did you see a change? I did not see a change. Okay, that's because nothing happened. Let's try the Royal armor. Okay, nothing's happening on those. Okay, those are messed up. That's something else. That's another mod of mine. It has nothing to do with this mod. Okay, so let's move on though to the wedding dress and the wedding sandals, and we'll even give him the wreath. We'll just be silly. So for him, he gets nice shoes and a nice outfit. He still gets the wreath, which is silly, but that's okay. And then we have some Whiterun stuff. If you want to be a Whiterun guard, that looks pretty good. I was tempted to play through as a guard at some point for fun. Just supercharge your guard armor and stuff and play through. The winter hold. Okay. There's some slight differences to these, but really nothing major. I don't think, from the looks of it, my first thought is they did not change the wolf armor. Looks the same to me. Now this worn shrouded armor, I just threw this in here because it's here. I don't know that we will see any significant difference. It looks the same as all the others to me. Really, the Dark Brotherhood armor and stuff is really kind of blah. It really needs something. Anyway, just saying. All right. That is, let's see, that's every piece of armor. All right, so I'm here on the Whale Girl now. Simply a blonde Nord girl. Nonetheless, I'm going to go through and just try to show you the highlights of the variations with the females because they have some different meshes. They've changed. They've eliminated what they call the boob armors. And in a lot of cases, when you see that, you might think it's fine. I don't see a big deal. But some of it you may not like, so I want you to be able to see that. For instance, here on the Ancient Thalmor, we do have the sleeves, which clip into the gauntlets, which aren't that great, but you'll notice the chest piece is just one piece. It's not really a big deal. I don't know if that's significantly different than the normal. Now, I'm going to go through and try to show you some of the ones that I noticed that were significantly different. Let's see, was this one different? No, now see, you can tell in the blades, she still has what they would refer to as the boob armor, right? Because it still has a place for her to have breasts. And that's something that they didn't seem to like and they wanted to get rid of. So I want to come down and make sure that we see some of the ones that were changed. A lot of the clothing was not significantly changed. Let's see, let's take a quick look at the Daedric Armor. I'm not sure that that's significantly changed. It still looks pretty similar in its mesh. I know the ebony is different. Let's see, let's take a look at the Dawn Guard on her. Yeah, see, on the Dawn Guard, it's just one kind of piece, and there's just kind of there's no room, there's no individualized lumpage. How's that? In other words, we're looking at mainly at the chest. That's mainly where they changed the mesh, though they did add sleeves and pants to some things too. So something to be aware of. For the most part, I think everything looks good. There's a couple of odd choices, which I'll point out when we get there. Most things, like I said, I still think they look good. This still looks good. You know, it doesn't have to show individualized breasts on the armor. It depends on what you're doing and how you're doing it, you know. It's not always a one-size-fits-all. Everything doesn't always work that way, especially in real life. But they wanted to make sure that they were eliminating what they called, and I'm saying they, the mod author, the boob armor. So here, you'll notice this. This looks like they just kind of pushed the front out in a weird way, rather than having, I guess, anyway, it just looks weird. Okay, the chest piece to me just looks kind of weird. I'm just going to say it. That's all it is. Is it bad? It's up to you. Now, this is the normal. This is the vanilla for the dragon scale. I don't think they may have changed this mesh, but they said, I think in their comments, they said they did not. So I'm assuming that that's pretty normal, what we're seeing there. Now, the outfits, the clothes, they didn't really mess with the clothes much. I'll show you the one significant thing there when we get there. I think the Dwarven armor has always been this way. I don't think that's really changed. I don't remember it really having a place for the breasts, so I don't think. Now, this one is where it gets a little weird on the Ebony armor. They put this kind of projectile thing on the front, like a front plate. Maybe that makes more sense if you think about it as plate armor for protection. But it's also in a teepee style shape, which means you would be kind of pressed. They would be kind of squished in there. So I'm not sure how legitimate that is either. But, you know, they're trying to follow a certain idea. And that's their business. This is their mod. I'm not making fun of that, but I'm pointing this out to you in case if you don't play girls, you won't care, and if you do play females, you might care. So that's why I'm trying to point this out. Hey, is my rafter getting in the way? The rafter is getting in the way, girl. Move. All right. So anyway, so it's just a couple. That's kind of an odd choice to me. I'll show you what they did in the Elven. The Elven, they made no allowance for the boobs at all, and they really made it look more like she has a chance to have a pregnant belly. Not a late-term belly, but a little belly. So, you know, these are just little things that I noticed. They're kind of strange options that they chose. I'm not putting them down. Like I say, these textures and colors look really good, and you just have to decide for yourself if you like these mesh changes. I'm going to be doing another show, which is going to be more of a tutorial showing some things that we can do with this. But for right now, I just want you to see what this mod brings you for your females. If you play females, if you don't, you won't care. They do give you actual female executioner hood and robes. See? Now there, they really just have kind of a little space. They didn't do any form fitting, but they made like a little space. She could have boobs and look normal. So that looks pretty good, I think. The Thalmor, I didn't look at this. Let's look at this real fast. I did not take a look at the Thalmor armor, and for some reason I'm having trouble with that today. It looks like they didn't really mess with the mesh. It looks pretty normal. Now I'm using a UNP body. I didn't want to use anything really out there because this is not, this armor is not fitted to any body like that. So let's go down to, I think this is going to be pretty much still, yeah, it's still bug armor. It's not really much different. I wouldn't expect that to change. So let's go down. Like I said, we're going to go through some different things. Now, the Forsworn armor, they really were overly concerned about showing anything. So they made a massive lump of stuff up front. So I guess that's supposed to be covering the boobs. But anyway, this is kind of another goofy choice. Okay. If you want to say that, nobody's going to be showing any skin. And I think that's part of their idea. However, this, they left like this, which is fine. I don't see any problem with it. It just seems a little out of sync with their other changes. But I like it. I've always liked that one, so that's fine. These are more normal for this mod. Just some bulky clothing. Not trying to show off curves, but trying to keep them warm and hide curves. That seems to be their theme here. And I don't know why I would be that concerned with it. If you're overly concerned either way, I think you might have an issue, Though I admit that it is funny sometimes. Anyway, we'll move on from that statement. All right, so this armor for Kairos, it's kind of weird seeing the sleeves and the pants for me, because I know this is supposed to be a certain style. And for Tullius, she gets the same armor for both, whereas the guy had a little difference. Now, the glass armor, I'm not seeing a huge difference, except they might have flattened it in the chest a little bit. I don't know. Not a big difference. Let's see. Let's move down to where there's something worth seeing down here. Hide armor, of course, again, just like for the guy, they're more covered. They did leave a little, possibility of cleavage there, I suppose, but they're more covered. Let's see, what else? I just had a few things. I'm trying to make this reasonably quick. The Imperial Armor, sleeves and pants, looks a little strange since that's not what we're used to seeing, but I won't say it's bad. The same with the light armor. We saw this on the guy too. And you'll notice now she still has a little room for her chest there. It's not all squished down flat. I didn't notice on this one how they did it. Yeah, they still left that there. That you make an allowance for real life shape. People have shape, and everyone's not exactly the same. Now, they didn't eliminate the boob armor. Oh yeah, they did. I take that back. On the iron, you'll notice what they did here. They kind of did sort of what they did with the Elven, except it's just they made the chest piece a little thicker. They curved it a little bit, but there's no what they would call boob armor, so there's no boobs or breasts shape there. Like I said, they didn't mess with the clothes. You can tell from looking at the certain ones, they didn't mess with the clothes a lot. There are some things they made some changes on that I was kind of surprised. Let's see. Let's look at the leather armor for a second. It also takes a second to load these in. I'm not exactly sure why. I've done a reset and everything, but this seems to be just a little on the slow side. But you'll notice here, it seems like they've kind of changed that chest shape a little bit. It was never a big deal to begin with, so I don't think it's a big deal. They may not have changed it significantly at all. Let's move on down. A lot of the clothes are basically the same. Let's see. The Nightingale Armor, they didn't touch. You can see it still has the breasts, which is, what you would expect. Nocturnal's clothes worked for the girl. Whereas, if you remember, they didn't work too well for our guy, but they worked for the girl. So, ta-da. That's nice. Let's see. So, they didn't change that. The Nordic Carved, I'm trying to remember. It looks different somehow, but I'm not sure what they did. It never did look especially boobish, so I'm not sure. They may have changed it somewhat, but I'm not sure what they've done. So let's go down. The Orcish Armor, was there anything there? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, here, this is just one piece. Just boom. This is what you get. That's it. For male and female, basically the same. I don't know that they really changed that. That may be the same. Now, here's the Penitus Ocularis. And again, sleeves and pants we're not used to seeing on this, so it looks a little weird. But it's not bad. I mean, if you like this, there's nothing wrong with this. If I sound like I'm being overly negative, that is not my intention. I'm really kind of neutral on it. I think you should enjoy what you enjoy. The ragged trousers, they're still ragged, but they gave her a top, so that's kind of nice, I guess. Let's see. Savior's Hide. I wasn't really sure. I did this, and I thought they mentioned that they changed it, but it looks pretty similar to the normal. I don't know. You have to decide for yourself. I couldn't really see a huge difference. Now, with the Scaled Armor, like all the others, they're worried about too much skin showing, so they're trying to cover everything up. That's fine. We're used to our barbarians running around with less coverage, so, but whatever, it's fine. This still looks good, and the colors are nice. So, just depends on what you like. Let's roll on down. The Star Rim, it never looked like this got changed. This looks pretty vanilla to me. I don't see much difference. So, if you see a difference, you can always speak up. But to me, the texture, the shape, everything looks the same. I could be wrong. Now, the Steel Armor, it looks like they've made basically just one piece, and they've just kind of, pushed it out a little bit. It's not a bad piece. It's not bad. It's just the way they've done it. Like I said, their concern was to make it more what they call practical, and a lot of times, from what I can see, it's like they just wanted to make sure to eliminate what they call the Boob Armor, and they wanted to cover a lot of stuff up. And if that's more practical and that suits you more, then definitely you should get this mod. See, here they did kind of like they did on the Elven, and they just kind of made... it looks like she has a little more room in the chest and a little less room in her belly, but still, they just kind of made a curve, and that's fine. Of course, she would not be able to have very big breasts, but hey, you could squish them in, I guess. So let's see what else. And I know I'm talking about this too much, but it's a point that they were making in the description of the mod. So I wanted to make sure that we cover that. Otherwise, I wouldn't really need to cover both the male and the female. I could have just covered the males and shown you the textures. But because they messed with the meshes and they actually changed the way some of these things look, I kind of want to give you some highlights. The Tavern Clothes, I'm going to be honest and just say that rather than the ragged dress they usually wear, this is a great improvement. Should it be a little more on the sexy side for a tavern wench? Maybe. But, that's an option. It's for you to decide. I personally don't think they would be running around in ragged clothes like they do. So this makes more sense. Is it the best choice? Maybe not, but it's a good choice. All right. Okay. But I wanted to point that out to you. Let's see. There's a couple of more things that I wanted to make sure I showed you. Okay. The vampire armor. Now, you know how the vampire armor normally is. They have changed it so that there's no cleavage showing. She's covered. And it doesn't matter which one you look at. If it's this one or the gray one or the red one. They just decide to cover it up. So that's it. So there is no, no sexy vampirism or whatever. So that's just the way they decide to go. Okay. For them, they said this is more practical, whatever. I'm just telling you. I think this is an unnecessary change. Vampires and the undead don't feel the cold anyway. They don't care. So, just saying. Anyway, moving on. These armors don't work for me, and I'm not going to get into it. It has something to do with my crafting mod, so don't worry about these. I would show these if I could, but I can't right now. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it. If you look at the wolf armor, you're going to see a little difference here. And I'm not sure what they've done exactly, but it looks a little different. I'm not sure how to describe it, so just take a look and see what you think. It just looks a little off. I'm going to say it like that. But I can't put my finger on what's wrong. Okay? All right. So, but I think that's one of those where they didn't want the boob armor. Okay. Now the worn shrouded armor and the Dark Brotherhood stuff, it looks like sometimes they smoothed a little bit of it out and they made her look a little poochier, like she's got a little belly. But other than that, I can't tell a huge difference. So I'm not 100% sure if they changed that a lot or not. But it looks a little, I don't remember it looking exactly like that. But I use mods a lot, so. All right. So that is our show for the female side of things. Now, I want to take you and show you some of the weapons, and for that, I'm going to go first person. It doesn't matter who we have. I just want to show you some of the weapons here. And there's a lot of different weapons to look at, and this is probably too much. So I'm going to go through a few of them, such as the Steel War Axe. I'm going to start at the bottom for a change. And I think that looks really nice. See that color and the way it looks? I think that looks really good. And we might be able to just flip through them like this and look at them. See how that looks? I think this might be a better option for us. That looks good. The Steel Sword. It has some shininess, but still looks good. Now I do have... I don't know if I have the Cube Map mod, because this is our game. I mean, this is our show load order, so... Nonetheless, I think these textures look good. It's going to depend on what you like, but they look a little darker. At times, I think they look a little shinier. I don't think the Stalrim weapons really... Unfortunately, they were changed and they don't match the armor. We mentioned that on the guy, so I'm not going to go back into that. But they have a different appearance than the armor. So I don't like the mismatch there. So if that's a big deal to you, you may not like that. Overall, it's not huge. I don't think it makes a huge difference. I like the Silver Sword. It's darker looking. And for some reason, I like that better. I don't know why, but I do. Maybe that makes me think it's more realistic. I don't think the Orcish stuff was changed, and I'm just going to kind of flip through these. I'm not going to zoom in on them because I don't think they were changed. I'm not sure that the Nordic was changed either. It looks good, but I'm really not sure it's different. If it's different, it's not hugely different. That's just my thought on it. The Nightingale blade, I think that's the same. I don't think that's different. Now, the iron weapons, I can tell they're darker. and they look cruder somehow. Maybe it's just because they're darker, but they look rougher. You know what I mean? Maybe it's the darkness, but it just makes them look like they're older and like they've been laying around and you're grabbing something up off the floor and you're beating somebody with it, you know. They just look older. Now, the Imperial Sword looks about the same to me, but it has a better shape. Remember, they did use Lean Wolf's better shaped weapons. So some of these are going to have a slightly different shape, a better shape. I can't remember everything, so I'm just showing you a lot of stuff that I thought from the description was changed. There were a few exceptions to that, but I think some of these, they look different and they've been changed by the mod. For instance, I think the glass swords are slimmer, not as fat. The mace looks good, but it always looks good to me. So I like the way they did this. I like the color variation, more of an aqua blue. Now we have a giant club, which I made just for fun. I don't know that it's really significantly different. This sword looks good, and I know it's being affected by the mod, which is great. And same here. Looks good. The coloring and everything. Same with this sword. The bow, I think the bow looks nice too. So nothing bad there. Now the ebony, to me, I think they made the ebony, I don't know what they did exactly. I think they made some things. The sword still looks like the sword. I really don't see a tremendous huge difference. It does look perhaps a little better. I think some of the other pieces really look a little better. Like the texture coloring looks a little better. Now it might just be me, and I freely admit that, and I don't remember now. I started this show and I was not able to finish it all at one time, so it's been a while since I read that description. But if I remember right, I made these thinking that these were affected by the mesh and the texture. So some of these may not have their texture changed as much as they have the mesh changed. Like this should be a slimmer sword, not such a fat sword. That sort of thing. But you can see all these have the same idea. Now, these were supposed to be changed as far as the mesh. I'm not sure that there's any texture difference with these. I'm just not sure. Because this looks very much the same. I think it's just a little slimmer. So, you don't have to agree with me. You can always disagree. Keep your disagreements to yourself. Just being silly. So this is Dawn Guard, and they made it darker, and I think it looks cool. I like it. I can't tell any difference in Dawnbreaker. I think they slimmed it down a little, but other than that, it's still got the big glowiness and everything. I really don't see any significant difference in the Daedric stuff. I'm going to show it to you real fast. And I think they said they had changed it, but I don't see a huge difference. Now, maybe I just don't use it enough that I just don't remember, and that's fine. And maybe it's just a texture difference, and maybe it's not significant enough to really get my attention. Chilren looks cool. Made it a little bluish, and it's shinier, so that's cool. The Blade Sword, it might be a little darker. I can't tell much difference, really. And then Ariel's bow looks good, but again, I'm not sure if I can tell much difference. It might be a little shinier. Okay. So I just wanted to give you a general rundown on some stuff like that. So I hope that is helpful to you. If you like this mod, the Variations mod, it is really cool. It's got some nice colors. I wish they really didn't mess with the meshes. I wish they would give us a version that just gives us the texture color variations And don't mess with the meshes, because when you're anyway, that causes issues with us trying to do other things, and I will try to show you that in my next show after this one. For right now, since we've looked at everything and I've at least given you the highlights, and I know this is getting kind of long, let's pop over and look at the mod. All right, so what we're looking at, or what we have been looking at, is Variations 1K, 386 megabytes, basically. They have if you really want to read and see everything that's been changed and messed with, and they try to tell you mesh only or whatever, there's a lot of stuff here that you can look at and read about. I admit that I did not go into that greater detail because it's too much, and even though I read it all, I tended to forget stuff even after I did that, so it's a lot to remember. They do mention, of course, Lean Wolf's better shaped weapons, things like that. They also do mention the practical armors. Let me see if I can find that. It may be up towards the top in the comments. Yeah, it's being a fan of such and such as practical female armors. So they used their models to replace what they call the boob blade armors, okay? All right, and then they did some other things, and they added sleeves to some stuff and different things. So I'm not going to get into all that. The original modder was S4Zenda. I can't remember now who ported this, but they did a good job. It really seems to keep in line with the original mod. If you remember the original mod S4Zenda did, I think it's about twice this size. So shrinking this down to 1K, it looks really nice, and it's not near as big. So that makes it more possible that we would be able to use it. Doesn't make it 100%, because it's still pretty big, but it does give us a better opportunity to use it, okay? All right, if they didn't... Now, the meshes, I don't think the meshes take up much space. I think most of the space goes to the textures. So while I wish they would leave the meshes out, it's not for space consideration. It's just that when they edit the meshes and then you do something else below it that edits the meshes, sometimes you lose some of the color textures too, and I'm going to show you that in an upcoming show, okay? But for right now, I want to thank you very much for listening, watching, sitting through this with me, and hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you later. Quick, take my picture. I'm about to pick up a cow. This has been an How That Smarts production.